The combine gets started tomorrow, and we're ready to break it all down tonight. Coming up next on the Draft Countdown Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Draft Countdown Podcast. I'm your co-host, Brian Bossarge, joined as always by my co-host, Shane P. Hallam. Shane, we are 56 days, 22 hours, 58 minutes, and 30 seconds away from the 2024 NFL Draft.
It's Combine Week. Combine's here, and that's what we're focused on today. That's kind of, we have the pro days, but kind of the last big one-time event for us before the draft to really get into this and really get rolling. So I'm excited. I can't wait for the next couple of days.
Yeah, it's everything gets started, I believe, at 3 Eastern tomorrow with the defensive line and is it linebackers tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, defensive line linebackers. So, yeah, we're ready to go. If you're following along in the chat, you got a question, drop it on in there. We'll answer it at the end of the show. If you're following on Twitter, send us a question there. We'll answer it at the end of the show. Or if you're a member of our Discord, you can ask a question there. If you're not a member of Discord, you would like to be, go to draftcountdown.com. Top right corner of the search bar, there is a link to join the Discord, and we'll talk all things Combine in there tomorrow and through the weekend as it starts Thursday through Sunday. So we're ready to go. And we're pumped. Chris Ratley's pumped. I'm pumped. We're all pumped. So Combine Week is here. Senior Bowl replays on the television now on NFL Network. We are jacked. That's right. Finally, we got somebody in here who gets it, Shane.
Yeah, well, you got someone in the chat that giving you Bengals love for those that aren't watching on YouTube.
That's right.
Brad's
in here. He's ready to go too, man. So let's get this started tonight. And but first, I thought it was done. I spelled realignment wrong, but that's okay. We won't worry about that. I thought it was over, but hey, UMass, baby, is on the move, Shane, heading to the MAC.
Yeah, look, I think it's good for UMass. They've had some good players. They're a tough team. The MAC is, as they've talked about, a little desperate. They can't really find a TV deal right now. So, another market, the better chance, perhaps, of that.
Plus, I mean, it kind of gives a natural, somewhat Northeastern rivalry with Buffalo, right? Gives them somebody to pair up with. But yeah, that's not the real college football news that everybody's talking about today. I thought we had settled on a 12-team playoff, Shane. Apparently we have not. As they are gathering right now to vote on another proposal, expanding it to 14. 12 felt like a good number. Everything matched up. Now we're just going to jack it all up with 14. And but under this agreement that they're planning to vote on, we automatically get 3 teams from the Big Ten, 3 teams from the SEC, 2 from the Big 12 and ACC, 1 group of 5 school, and then 3 at large, which will be Big Ten and SEC schools.
And Notre Dame, if they're in the top 14, they get an automatic bid. So we got to have Notre Dame in there, right?
Got to right?
Get on there.
So we can't have that. We can't have force them into a conference or anything that makes sense. Notre Dame.
I don't hate it. I like that it gives those big conferences that are becoming these mega conferences, a little more. You get a little more oomph, right? If you're Penn State this past year, you lost to Michigan, you lost to Ohio State. 12 teams, you're out. You're gone pretty much, right? This would get that third team in for the Big Ten, for the SEC, for sure. And you can have a bad loss or two, and it's not going to necessarily kill you. I also like having just the one bye, kind of on each, two buys, I guess. Essentially, the top two teams would have a bye, so it kind of gives a throwback to the top two, the best two teams have a little more advantage, which I like. I like as well.
They're not even trying to hide the NFLness of their intent anymore. My main problem here is given the second auto bid to the ACC and the Big 12, because who would have been the second best team from the ACC this year that would be in this college football playoff automatically now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Louisville,
it would have been Clemson, right?
No, Clemson had they were like 8-4.
Yeah, I guess
it would have had Louisville.
Yeah, it would have had to be. I guess it would have had to been Louisville because
so
lost. Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean it's probably fair. I don't know.
I don't know. You just sold it to me better if you just said 5 at-large teams.
But I don't think you can do. That's why I'm surprised this has momentum. Because if I'm the ACC and the Big 12, this is me saying yes, we are subpar to the Big 10 and SEC, right? I mean, that's literally what you're saying. If you only get 2 and they get 3, that you're never better than them.
They see the writing on the wall. The ACC is trying to survive at this point.
I guess it's fair, but this is not it.
They're going to take what they can get. And the Big 12 at this point, you're losing your 2 marquee teams. So now you're going to get 2 probably teams maybe ranked in the top 20, maybe. I don't know. I think the SEC. I don't know why the SEC and Big 12 Big 10 would go for this when if they go even, they're going to get all of them.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, then they get 4 or 5 teams. I don't think they would get more than that in a 12-team playoff. You're not going to get more than 4 teams in.
In a 12-team playoff, they're getting 4 each.
Right, and so they're probably getting at least that in this playoff, maybe 5.
Maybe so.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think we're heading to the path where they're the only 2 conferences anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Right, but this would be fun. Hopefully they have time to tweak the new college football video game before it comes out to whatever.
They did say that was one of the things, right? That they were going to let the playoff and stuff be adjustable, I guess, or like
you could change that any customizable I'm in. So, but yeah, no, I wouldn't mind this. I like the difference between 12 and 14. I think is minimal, and I'm just for more games. That's what I'm always about. Like. Whatever the logistics for the schools and the players might not be the right thing for me. If I can get to watch a prospect in an extra game that I wouldn't have otherwise watched, I'm in.
Maybe if they expand it to the size of the FCS playoffs, South Carolina may have a, nuclear cockroach survival chance of actually making the college football playoff one year.
Yeah, let's say this. This makes more players play in the bowl game, right? I mean, this is an extra game that players will play in and not opt out of.
Right.
So I think that's a huge piece of it.
There's a whole lot of changes we could talk about college football. We don't have time for tonight, but they're changing the recruiting calendar around again. Recruiting doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't. Sorry. The portal is all that matters now.
No, that's not true.
Outside of 10 teams in college football, the portal is all that matters.
I mean, look, yes, but we're gonna hit the cliff of the COVID year. We're gonna hit that cliff soon. That portal's still gonna be hopping, but you're not gonna have old 7-year guys that you can just fill in with anymore. You can just pop in the 7th, 8th year quarterback in the transfer portal. You still have to recruit. If you have a recruit that ends up really good, like. That's big for your team, It's still worthwhile.
Yeah, but then you got to hope they stay.
Then you got to keep them, right?
Right. So, all right. Let's move on to the Combine. That's what everybody who's watching this is here for tonight. And our plan tonight is to go position by position here, and kind of just give our take on what we're expecting to see at the combine. We'll notate any players that we know for sure are not going to work out. And we'll talk about some players we expect to have a chance to shine more than anybody else at those positions. So let's start, as we have to, with the quarterbacks. And this is basically the Senior Bowl Invitational now, at the quarterback position at the combine, outside of J.J. McCarthy, who we'll get to in a second. But we get no Caleb Williams from Southern Cal, no Drake May from North Carolina, no Jaden Daniels from LSU throwing or working out at the combine. So that, to me, really puts a shine here on Michigan's J.J. McCarthy, right? He has the now best chance, I think, because he's the only one we haven't seen, right, at an All-Star game.
Right. That's going to throw. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to kill it at the combine. I think he is going to come out of this with that huge stock up arrow, rightfully so. I've had to go back and kind of extensively watch this tape. I've been writing a fantasy scouting report for Draft Sharks on him, and I've turned around, Brian. I've turned around on J.J. McCarthy. I think he is deserving of a top 10 pick. I think the lack of passing that he did, there's a lot of development mentally he still has to do, but like, man, the skill set's there and the throws are there. I think the combine's perfect for him, like it was for CJ Stroud last year, where it's going to be, very easy for McCarthy, especially without those top three throwing, to look head and shoulders more impressive than any other quarterback. And his technique, his arm, the release, the footwork is all there. So I think that's really what the combine was. That's why Stroud was so much better than Anthony Richardson, because he had the technique and the footwork and the quick release. That's what McCarthy has, I think, over these other quarterbacks.
I'm glad you just brought up Stroud Richardson, because it just dawned on me that J.J. McCarthy will throw back to back. In theory here, I don't know how they're splitting them up, but if they're in the same group, he'll be throwing back to back with Joe Milton, who has that Anthony Richardson arm, right? But that's about it.
Yeah. You saw Joe Milton throw enough at the Senior Bowl to know he's even getting close to Anthony Richardson. How he looked at the combine, which was slightly above average.
I don't know if you've heard, but a former scout for the New York Jets is in love with Joe Milton and thinks he's a top five.
Well, he's not his top quarterback, so that's.
I hate the fact that who he has as his top quarterback. It really makes me. It hurts my soul a little bit. But his top quarterback is Spencer Rattler, and he's another one I think has a chance to have a good day here when he gets to throw on Saturday.
I think it's going to be important. He had the good Senior Bowl week. Rattler played well down in Mobile. If he can string together a really nice combine performance, then you start talking about Rattler as that round 3 quarterback with upside, as we have teams that want to take a shot on a quarterback that has the arm talent that Spencer Rattler does. So I think this is important. I still haven't been quite as sold on Rattler, obviously, as you have, but I'm starting to come around a little more. But once again, I think this is pretty crucial for him. I don't know if you agree. I think this is pretty crucial for him. If Rattler comes out and lays an egg at the combine, then we're like, yeah, okay, he's day
and
3
then
guy,
you start. Right? He kind of flushes the goodwill that he picked up during Senior Bowl week, right? If he comes out and stinks it up at the combine. I don't know how well he's going to test. I think he's going to run well. I don't know how much of the other stuff he's going to do, but I think he'll run in the 4.6, low 4.6 range. One quarterback, and I'll let you, if you have somebody else, one quarterback that I think has a chance to maybe get some buzz going as him as a late round guy after the combine is Western Kentucky's Austin Reed. guy I've been a fan of since I come across him at UWF at the Division II level before he transferred up because he had generated some buzz then. Been with the Hilltoppers a couple seasons now, put up big numbers there. He's got a good arm, decent athlete. He's an older prospect, I believe, but Austin Reed I think has a chance to maybe, and I'm just assuming he's going to be one of the throwing quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, I am with you. I think Reed has a good chance. Once again, just an accurate passer. I think the guys without the big arms is kind of okay at the combine. You might not be able to hit the 9 route, but what I love about the combine, and I know people always kind of dog it with the quarterbacks throwing, is you get to see them literally throw an entire route tree. And I don't care if they're on, hitting the receiver every time. It's the different receivers they have practice with, but you get to see them throw every route. I think Reed he has the ability to hit a lot of different routes in some of that short to intermediate area. I think he could look good. So no, I don't have too much else. I mean, we talked Joe Milton a little bit. Tommy's asking in the chat, Milton's got a big arm. I think he's going to be physically impressive. He's going to run a really fast 40 time. He's going to have a great RAS. I don't think Joe Milton's going to go throwing and we're going to be like, wow, we were wrong. I think we saw what we needed to see at the Senior Bowl. And then past that, Sam Hartman, I don't think he's going to throw very well. Devin Leary, Keaton Slovis, Michael Pratt's really the only other guy that I think could come out and be impressive. I assume Jordan Travis isn't doing much of anything. So that's Pratt's the only other one that I think could maybe redeem himself a little bit from the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. Pratt. I was gonna say that down coming off a down Senior Bowl. The rest of the guys I think are. I mean, we didn't mention Bo Nix. I presume he's gonna do everything.
Yeah, I think Nix and Penix. It seems like they are. So I think that's fair.
What will we rate the position in this year's draft class? Kind of mid, I guess.
I think it's good. I think it's a really good year, right? I mean, we're talking 4 potential top 10 guys. You've got 2 pretty firm early day 2 players, and then now you have Rattler in the 3rd. I mean, if we have 7 top 100 picks, I mean that's an insane quarterback class, to be honest.
And didn't somebody bring it up that we could see, or was it you was talking about it the other day? Maybe it might have been somebody, it might have been Paul. I can't remember who it was. That basically was like, this is now a chance to get a cheap quality backup, right?
Yeah. No, I tweeted about, I took Mike Clay's statistic of only 8 teams had a quarterback start every game this year. In the 17-game season, it's just teams might start spending day 2 picks on backups. If they're really good, I can trade them. And if I can develop them into being a solid backup, it can win me a couple late games, win me a playoff game. I mean, that's going to be crucially important for a lot of these teams.
I think this is where, and we can talk about this another day, where the UFL needs to shine. We need to develop these guys that they can sign into training camp and be a quality backup. Some of these guys could end up developing there down the road.
Yeah.
Crap. Let's move on to the running backs now. And I don't know of anybody that is publicly announced they're not going to work out.
I don't think anyone's not working out because of choice. I think it's injury, or that's the only reason not to work out, at least somewhat.
Are we in agreement the fastest 40 coming out of this group is going to be Jalen Wright from Tennessee?
Yeah, I think I had him. I think I had him up there. I think I had him tied for second. So I think Bucky Irving from Oregon has a chance. And I think Rasheen Ali's a sleeper, but I think Wright.
Ali's probably not going to run, right? Because
I would assume not. I haven't heard.
I haven't heard him. How would he get? I can't see him being able to get down in a stance with a ruptured by himself, right? So
come on. He can run with that,
I
right?
presume he's not going to work out.
If that's the case, then yeah, I think it's between Jalen Wright and Bucky Irving. And Irving might be one of those guys that's better at the shuttle stuff even than the 40. So
if any of these guys do the shuttles, this was a thing last year, and with
last 2 years,
shuttle,
yeah.
like a lot of people just didn't even do them because of the timing, because the NFL decided this needed to be a made for TV event, and so they do the shuttles at the end of the night, and everybody's like, "Dude, I've been up since 6 o'clock this morning, getting poked and prodded and everything else. I'm not going out there and running a 3-cone, you know."
Like,
and I totally get it.
Right. What I don't get is no one's watching the 3-cone on NFL Network. You know what I mean? Like, no one run the 3-cone the day before. Like no one's gonna watch the running backs run the 3-cone or care about the 3-cone on the general public. You know,
we would watch it.
Oh, right. I mean, that'd be great. But like, do it. You can still split it up, but have the big, have the jumps, have the 40, have the big stuff in the primetime slot, and then we'll just sprinkle in. You could do a couple of the other ones early, the day before, that no one's going to actually watch.
So like now they do the bench press the day after, like they do the bench press
which
the day
is smart.
after.
But just why not? Why can't we do the 3-cone
the day after?
I mean, it's a different location, I guess, but still.
How hard would it be to set up 3 cones?
Well, the bench is inside, so you'd have to have a second location for the.
Don't the Colts have a practice facility?
I'm sure it wouldn't be that hard.
We're getting off. Isaac Windows, another one that I think has a chance to run really fast from Louisville.
I don't buy it. I don't see it. I don't see the 4-4 low 4-4s from him. From a straight 40. He's going to come in pretty big too. That would be a really impressive Raz. If
anybody else you looking forward to out of the running back group?
I'm looking forward to a lot.
Other than all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to. I think Dylan Lobby. I want to see what he does in the 40 and some of the drills. Had one of the highest GPSs at Mobile at the Senior Bowl. Is that going to translate to a mid 4.4 time? If so, then he's looking at that round 4 possibility. I also love the combine, and I say it every year. I love the combine for the drills. You get the numbers, they're great. But the running backs, especially, getting to see them catch the football back to back to back, same passes is important. I want to see, how does Braylon Allen catch the football? I want to see, how that compares to a Jalen Wright and a Bucky Irving, right, who are really good at this. Probably another running back that I've circled is Audric Estime from Notre Dame. Is kind of getting a lot of buzz and love right now. Is that going to translate at the combine? Is he going to look fluid in the drills or look stiff? I think that's an important thing to look at as well.
A couple of guys I have circled, kind of interested to see how their workout goes, is Will Shipley, Clemson, is one I'm kind of interested to see, and Braylon Allen from Wisconsin. We haven't mentioned Trey Benson from Florida State, who I have as my running back 1, but it's like that right now running back is so fluid in my rankings that I have no idea. 10 could end up being 1 by the time we get to the end of this process.
I think Braylon Allen's going to absolutely dominate. Like, I think he's going to come in the 220s, run 4.5 flat, and look good doing it. He's going to be rocked up. Like, I think this is where he excels, right? He's not going to do the 3-cone. I'll tell you. I'm not sure we ever get a 3-cone from him because that's going to be the negative. But I think we get everything else, and I think it's going to be 9-something Raz.
Shane's calling his shot.
Prediction: Braylon Allen
plus Raz.
He's been my RB1 for a while, and I think this is where it's going to come back around to people putting him up there.
All right. Let's move on to the Debbie Downer section here of the combine talk, and that's the wide receivers, where we got word the other day that Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver of Ohio State, projected top 5 pick, number 1 wide receiver by pretty much everybody. Not going to work out not only at the combine. Dude is just shit canning the pro day too. He has no desire to do the workouts at all here.
Well, and that's the thing is it's one thing to skip the combine. It's another to not say I'm not going to a pro day. I'm not, I might show up and
100% healthy too.
100% healthy, no problems. I think it's smart. We know that his draft stock's not getting hurt by this, right? And you talk about it all the time. Teams skipping the Senior Bowl game or not playing in a bowl game, it does not hurt them. Why would they not? Why wouldn't they make that choice? And Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to fall in the draft. He's not going to become wide receiver 2 because Malik Neighbors runs a good 40 time in his pro day. It's not changing anything. I think it's smart if you're not going to run at the combine. You're locked into a top 5 pick. I think it's smart not to do anything. Because how much time is Malik Neighbors taking to train for every single one of these drills, right? Months. Marvin Harrison's not training one bit for any of these drills. Instead, he's working with former NFL coaches, wide receiver coaches to get better as a receiver. And if that gives him a heads up when he gets to the NFL, gives him a leg up in being a better rookie receiver, winning rookie of the year, was that not a better choice for his long-term financial future? I mean, if he's getting months of training that every other receiver in the draft is not getting for his NFL career, if it's not going to hurt you, it's not a bad idea.
We talked a little bit about it off air, and I said, hold on, I have kind of wanted to go off on a bigger point here. As of right now, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the only player that's formally announced without injury or anything. I'm skipping the combine. I'm skipping my pro day. No Raz for me is what Marvin Harrison Jr. is saying. So far, he's the only one. He won't be the only one, but he's the only one to publicly announce it. I said this could become a trend, and you're like, well, it's only the elite of the elite that's doing it right now. And you're right. But remember, let's go back to whatever year however, I don't remember what year this was with Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette. They were the first two to sit out a bowl game, opt out of the bowl game. They both went in the top 8, no punishment or whatever. Then it became, and they were the elite of the elite that year, right? As well at their position anyway, at running backs. Then it became more, and then more. And then now it's just commonplace, right? Everybody sits out the bowl game if they're not in the college football playoff, pretty much if you're a draft eligible player, for the most part. 70% of these guys probably. So now they're no longer we got undrafted guys opting out of the bowl game now. So I guess because this snowball into a trend where everybody just starts opting out of all this stuff and just screw it, draft me. You saw the tape.
It could. Look, I can't say that it couldn't. I can't say no, you're wrong. It definitely won't happen. This could be how it starts and it becomes a trend. I think there's a lot more benefit to working out than playing in a bowl game, meaningless bowl game, right? If I think even the bowl game thing, a national championship's a national championship. I get it, but if the playoff game, I think players would sit out of a playoff game if it was beneficial. But playing in a meaningful game against top competition is helpful to their draft stock. I think running a 40, doing these drills at this point is still beneficial enough if you're not a top player to improve your stock and potentially make millions more dollars. So I think that's the difference. So I'm not there, but I can't say no. I can't say it won't happen because we've seen stranger things, and I think there could be certain agents that are like, I think what gets me too is we've seen a lot of guys suck at the combine, right? It's happened. And I'm always like, well, why are they running? I think maybe that's what we start seeing is, what's happening in training makes the decision, and now it becomes easier to be like, nah, we're not doing anything, or even if the pro date isn't looking good, like, yeah, we're not doing that either. Maybe it gives an out for some of those type of players. So I'm not there, but it wouldn't surprise me in 5 years if we are talking more about it.
Put poor Kent out of business.
Yeah, no,
if this becomes a thing.
Yeah, I honestly, probably the biggest factor to that is the GPS tracking now in games. Their teams are going to prefer that. I think they already prefer it a little bit more, but have that backlog of data on the 40-yard dash that it helps to have that number. So I think it makes that unnecessary. And, it could be the 40 that dies before some of these other drills, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe we just end up with position drills, right? And the athletic testing just goes away. I don't know. We'll see. Back to the wide receivers here. We mentioned Malik Neighbors not going to work out. I mean, so we're looking at 5 of the top 10 picks minimum here, not going to work out at the combine. With the 3 quarterbacks we mentioned earlier. One wide receiver who is going to work out is Washington's Rome Odunze, and I think he's going to have a pretty good Saturday.
Yeah, Rome Odunze should really establish himself as the wide receiver 3 with a big time workout and good size. I think he's going to be probably the best Raz receiver, I would say, that works out at the combine. I don't know if you agree, because he has the size. I think some guys are going to be faster, more athletic, but he's going to be 40 pounds bigger than those guys in some cases.
I got a few names circled who I think need good workouts to bump them up a little bit. Brian Thomas Jr., LSU, I think is in that late 10 spots in the first round mix right now, maybe top 20. I don't see it right now, but Brian Thomas Jr., I think, needs a good day. Adonai Mitchell, Texas, is another one because of the size. I think I want to see his numbers. And where did he go? Of those two, and Tez Walker, North Carolina. The Senior Bowl was not, the week was, I don't think, very kind to him from our perspective anyway. So see what kind of number. I know he's probably going to run fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I my 40-time prediction article, I think I had him at a 4.42, which would be pretty good. I'll say, kind of in line with you, Brian, I think Keon Coleman needs a big day, right? Yes. If he wants to be a first-round pick, I think he's in that. Adonai Mitchell, are they a first-round pick? Are they not? Because I think someone like Troy Franklin from Oregon is going to have a great day. And so I think Keon Coleman from Florida State has to match that. So I think that's another must. And again, intriguing guy. I guess Johnny Wilson from Florida State as well has that size. Is he a tight end? Is he a receiver? I think we really get the lowdown on. He should be pretty fast for his size, is what I'm hearing. Like low 4.5, 4.52. That would be pretty impressive for a guy that's. We'll see what he comes in at, pushing 230, 240. Would be pretty good.
If we get 3 cones on these guys, who do you think is going to have the best one?
Oh, that's tough. I like oh man. I guess I would probably go Ladd McConkey. I think McConkey's up there. I think Roman Wilson's up there from Michigan. McConkey from Georgia. I think Jacob Cowan from Arizona maybe is a sneaky
Roman Wilson. We didn't talk enough about him. I don't think we talked enough about him during Senior Bowl stuff either. He could blow this thing up Saturday, right?
I think it's going to squarely be in the 4.3s, 40 wise. I think everything else is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think we're going to be. I think he's going to be high 9, sitting the Raz probably.
Yeah. I think he'll be in the green at the very least. Sneaky guys, Brendan Rice from Southern Cal. I think he's going to run in the 4.44 flat area. Anthony Gold from Oregon State
He's so fast.
All speed, but him and Xavier Worthy going to run really fast. They're 170 pounds soaking wet.
Right.
Helps to do that. And I think Bub Means from Pitt is going to be one of those guys like, whoa, the workout's really good. We haven't talked about him at all. Who's this guy? I think he's going to be that.
He was on the freaks list, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he was this past year.
Last guy, because I have to mention him, I think he needs a good workout, is Xavier Legette, South Carolina.
Yes. What's your 40 prediction for Xavier Legette?
On Legette?
Yeah. I had trouble. I was torn on where to put him at in my article.
I'm gonna say 4.51.
Okay, I had 4.49, so we're in the same boat.
We're close. Yeah.
And Devon Vele from Utah, am I saying that correctly? The receiver is the oldest combine invite in NFL history.
How old is this cat?
Pretty old. So he turned 18 in 2015. So that was 9 years ago. He's 26, 27.
Wait, no, that can't be right, man, because Brandon Whedon would have had to have been at the combine, right? Or Chris Winkie?
I don't think Brandon Whedon was that old, was he?
He was like 28, right? And Chris Winkie was that old.
Maybe. Brandon Whedon was 28 when he was selected. So yeah. I think Fele's 28 then, because he would turn 28 in 2020. So maybe it's oldest receiver then. But that's
got to be a super athlete, right? If you're drafting a guy that's 28 years old, what's that breakout age, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's wild. I didn't even know that, and I saw someone tweet about it. It's interesting.
All right, let's quickly talk about tight ends here, because we've talked about this. I'm gonna be honest. I think the most important thing for this combine is going to be at the tight end group is the measurements for Brock Bowers. Yes or no?
But yeah, that'll be the most talked about piece of the tight ends. How tall and how big is Brock Bowers?
Yeah,
I don't think it matters, but
I don't think it matters either. But it's going to be a thing if he comes in under 6'2", right? Which I think he is.
Yeah, I think he will. I think as long as he doesn't come in under 6'1", I think we're good.
Yeah,
I think
it's
okay.
It's interesting because Jaheim Bell measured at Senior Bowl at 6'1", but he was 240, and I think Bowers is going to end up being about that, probably 6'1", 2. I think they're going to have very similar size profiles, but one is a way better player.
He's not running, right? I mean, there's no way Bowers is going to.
Bowers is. I don't know. He hasn't.
I don't think so, but
probably not.
He's going to beef up the weight and not run, and then
run at the pro day
down, lower back down for the pro day.
Any other tight end? JT Sanders, Texas, right? If we get a workout from him, I think that's super important because he's firmly tight end 2 right now for everybody else. For everybody, I think.
The question is if JT Sanders can get in the first round. I think that's more the question.
Maybe so.
Good workout can get him there.
And as we talked about last week with Kent, if the Raz ain't green, don't know. There's no point.
Yeah, at least not red. If you get a red Raz, you're out.
You're done.
You're not catching passes at least.
Yep. All right. Let's move on over to the offensive linemen, where despite having tightrope surgery this year, we're going to see Amarius Mims work out for Georgia. That's going to be huge for a guy who has 8 career collegiate starts.
Yeah. So there's a lot of players in this draft that don't have a ton of experience. Mims is one that's definitely up. Tyler Guyton, another one from Oklahoma, this offensive line class. So the workouts become more important that you see that potential with Mims and Guyton.
I'm curious if we're going to see some Graham Barton workouts. Injury kept him out of the Senior Bowl. We'll see if he works out. That Senior Bowl group has a chance to be really impressive here from the combine. All those guys we talked about during that week. Guys that we didn't talk about from Senior Bowl week that are very curious for me as a fan of a team who staring offensive tackle directly in the face at pick 18. It's a guy like J.C. Latham from Alabama. How big is he going to be, right? He was like our listed weight. We had him at 365. I mean, there's no way he's coming into the combine that heavy, right?
I can't imagine that he's coming to the combine that heavy. He probably has been losing that weight through the season. So, yeah, I think everything for Latham is going to be important. I mean, he could establish himself as offensive tackle 3 and maybe get himself into a top conversation or work himself out of the first round. I think there's a wide range of possibilities for some of these second-tier offensive tackles.
I'm guessing in your opinion the answer is no, but is there anything that can happen on Sunday when the offensive linemen work out to like is there anything Olu Fashanu can do to pass Joe Alt on your board?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe if the drills are really bad for Alt and really good for Fashanu. That's what I like about the O lineman. I like the drills. I like seeing the feet. I like seeing the change of direction. It's probably the position I gain the most in from the combine drills is offensive line because you can really see the kick slides, back to back to back. It's great. I don't think so. I mean, like I said, I think Fashanu is closer to offensive tackle 3 than he is to offensive tackle 1 right now.
Talk to me about Blake Fisher, the other offensive tackle from Notre Dame. He's a guy I've seen bandied about that I need to dig a little bit deeper in.
So he's the right tackle. I thought he was, as a freshman, was excellent. Was top 20 caliber player. He got slightly worse every single season, which is concerning.
That's not encouraging at all.
Not encouraging. I don't think he was bad. You're right, but I think he played his best early. Whereas also played great and then got better. Fisher, big guy. I don't think he's a great mover, but has a lot of that hand and footwork. I think he's going to do good in some of the drills with the bags and the punching, and then we'll see how his feet go. I had him in the 5.2, 740, not the 40s, like super meaningful for offensive linemen, but just as an athleticism reflection, I think it's day 2 shot.
Put you on the spot here. Offensive tackle and interior offensive lineman with the most to gain on Sunday.
That's a good one. Most to gain, I'm kind of thinking interior line. I think has guys, that really can move up a little bit more. I would probably go with one of my guys, Cedric Von Prawn from Georgia. I think he's kind of fallen right well behind Jackson Powers Johnson and Graham Barton and some of these top guys. I don't think Von Prawn's going to be a first round pick no matter what he does. But if he works out well, looks up to stuff with those players, then I think we see, this could be, at round 2, early round 3 center.
I think another guy who stands at the offensive tackle position, who stands a chance to get some momentum here is a guy you wrote about earlier this year, BYU's Kingsley Suamataia. I think he could be has a chance to test well.
Yeah, he should. He's big. I hope even maybe get to see some of the interior line stuff from him because I think that might be his better position. We saw a little bit of that talk at the Senior Bowl, but I like Kingsley Suamataia. This is probably where he should shine. Is the combine and not necessarily the film.
Yeah, the film wasn't that great this year, was it? All right, so let's move on to the defensive line here, and this will, for the most part, I think there's a couple of what we would call edge guys in the linebacker group, and we'll talk about them when we get there. But this, for the most part, is guys I would consider edge rushers or interior defensive line for the most part. You could have some 5 tech stuff like that in here as well. But Johnny Newton, Illinois, saddened that he doesn't get to come out and wreck the 40, as he tweeted out the other day. He had a Jones fracture injury that I think may have probably kept him out of the Senior Bowl and anything like that. He's hoping that he can have an April pro day to test. We'll see. My guess is even then it'll just be drills. I'm guessing we're getting no times or nothing from him that late in the process. So a little disappointed. That also explains why when you started seeing some of these rankings come out from the NFL Network guys and the ESPNs and the mock drafts and all that, and he was falling way down in the first round, like into like the 28 to 30 range or whatever, that kind of explains that. A lot of concern over the foot fracture.
Yeah, I think it is a concern. We both love Newton as a player. I think he deserves to be a first round pick, but you put the Jones fracture in with some of these other. I think some of these other defensive tackles like Byron Murphy from Texas going to blow up the combine. It becomes tough maybe to take Newton in the top 20, 25 picks. I hope he can work out in April because I think it's pretty crucial for his draft stock.
And you mentioned Byron Murphy from Texas and what we expect to be a show on Friday. Or no, that's Thursday. I'm sorry. That'll be Thursday. That'll be tomorrow when Murphy works out. By all intents, he's going to have a big day. He's pretty much firmly entrenched now, almost on everybody's board. I haven't gotten there yet, but he's defensive line 1 almost universally across the board now.
Yeah, I think it'll happen after the combine for everyone if it hasn't yet. The athleticism's there on film, and I think Devondre Sweat, the big guy next to him, is also gonna, for his size, 365 pounds, is gonna have a really good workout. It's not gonna be Jalen Carter-esque or anything, but gonna have a good workout too. So I think you see that Texas duo potentially be the first 2 defensive linemen off the board. And Murphy maybe even has a shot at the top 15 because he can move around the line, has the explosion. Like, he just has everything you look for.
And you mentioned Devondre Sweat will actually get his weight.
Yes.
He didn't weigh in at the Senior Bowl, so that'll be fun.
Don't speak too soon, Brian. You never know.
Man, if he doesn't weigh in at the combine, man.
Yeah, he has to, right? I mean, that's right. where you do. We've had the Devonta Smiths and guys that have held out of the Senior Bowl, but they have to do it.
Chris Jenkins, Michigan. This is another potential big workout.
Yeah, I think he comes out, Chris Jenkins, and also just rips it up. It's one of the best, 40 times and drills. Like, everything's going to work out well. I think Jenkins, a player, if people are low on, he'll be firmly in day 2, probably round 2. And, it wouldn't surprise me if Jenkins goes above Jer'Zhan Newton on draft day.
Any chance he sneaks into the first round like Mozzie Smith did a few years ago? Or was that last year? I can't remember what it was.
I think it was last year. Yeah, I think that's the upside. I think it's the upside for Jenkins. When you get to those last couple picks in round 1, it's like athletic defensive tackle that you're not going to get in a round. So you kind of have to take that shot.
I am going to go out on a limb and say highest Raz into the weekend belongs to Chop Robinson from Penn State.
Like the whole combine?
Overall combine, highest Raz, Chop Robinson.
Wow. That's cool. I think his teammate Adisa Isaac has a shot at that as well. So, the Penn State guys, they have
always bet on the Penn State guys.
They have the coaching and the strength coaching and speed coaching there is unmatched. So, I think it wouldn't surprise me. I'm excited for my guy Austin Booker from Kansas. I think he's going to blow it up. I think he's going to
run fast, right?
I mean, I had him in the second, I think top 100 of one of my mocks months ago, everyone's going to have it coming up pretty soon.
Couple of guys one guy that's trying to continue the momentum from the Senior Bowl where he had a huge week, and you think he's firmly in round one now is Darius Robinson from Mizzou. Their edge interior, he's going to play all over the front four. A guy I think needs to have an impressive combine is LSU's Mason Smith.
Yes.
I mean, this is a guy who nobody's talking about anymore. And I know he's tremendous size. And I saw somebody tweet this out the other day. I can't remember who it was. I wish I could remember. But they were talking about guys coming off ACLs. And they said it's almost always the second year after that you start seeing them get back into form. That would be his rookie season in the NFL. A team could end up getting Mason Smith in that third round and end up getting a steal, right?
Yeah, I think absolutely. And I think the combine, I think he's going to have a big combine. I think him and his teammate, Kai Wingo, both have a good combine. Both are really athletic. But yeah, I think he's every time I watch LSU, I knock both those guys down further down my rankings. It was really bad.
It was a rough year
this year. For both of them. I mean, Leonard Jordan Jefferson, who I'm not like a fan of, probably played better than either of those players. But we'll see the upside, I think, this weekend. And ultimately that's important.
I don't think it's going to move the needle for me either way, but I want to see what Latu from UCLA does.
Well, let's be honest. I think the most important the combine is the most important for Latu than any other player, right?
Correct.
The medical check for Latu determines if he's a potential top 10 pick or maybe if he's even a first round pick. And that's
100% correct.
That's it.
100%. All right. Let's move on to linebackers now, where I mentioned earlier, we've got a couple of quote unquote edge guys in here with Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner, both running in the linebacker group, and they're going tomorrow, right? I think we talked about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel Murphy is another one from UCLA, is an edge guy that'll be running with the linebackers. Medicals might be big for like Peyton Wilson, right? From NC State, a guy who's had some injury history throughout as well. James Williams from Miami struggled in the conversion from safety to linebacker to Senior Bowl. You can tell you know it's there, but he's just so raw at the position. So that's a guy you talked about the field drills, going to be super crucial for a guy like James Williams from Miami, who we know I think is probably going to test well athletically, and he's got tremendous size.
Yeah,
but we'll see how he looks out there.
Yeah, well, if he can show some of that, some more fluidity, I think just getting improvement from the Senior Bowl to the combine in terms of those drills, then I think James Williams becomes a day two possibility. It is a really important combine for him. We know the Raz will be pretty good. I like the linebacker drills because you get to see the explosion. You can see how they use their hips. You can see a little bit of how they move laterally across the field. So, this is where I think Edgerrin Cooper from Texas A&M, Cedric Gray from North Carolina, maybe Jeremiah Trotter Jr. established themselves as, these guys really look good in these drills. They're going to be athletic, going to look good in the drills because of that.
I'm glad you mentioned Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Weigh-in. Going to be big for him, right?
Yes. Yeah. I always wonder the combine. I don't think you're going to beef up for it, right? So I think he's going to come in pretty small, and if he does well, then you beef up for the pro day ultimately.
Right.
But we'll see. But
you mentioned
nice.
Edgerrin Cooper as another as a guy there as well that we didn't get to see in the All-Star game. He was at the Shrine Bowl but didn't participate.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's playing here to be a first-round pick. I mean, that's the question.
Yep. Jalen Ford from Texas, another one I'm anxious to see out there. Was supposed to be at the Senior Bowl, but ended up pulling out of the game. All right, let's move on to the DBs, and this is where, generally speaking, the fun happens, right? This is where the speed is, and we're going to see these guys on Saturday. Yes, no, Friday. They're going Friday with the tight ends, which that's weird, right?
They're Sunday then is tight ends.
Sunday's offensive line and specialists.
Offensive line, okay.
Yeah. So it is Friday, DBs and tight ends, which it's a weird combination.
Yeah. Couldn't squeeze those tight ends in with the other skill positions, I guess.
Unfortunately, a high res anticipatory is not going to be participating. Cooper DeJean from Iowa, still injured, not going to be there. That would have been fun to see, but we won't see him there. I think it's a big day for Kool-Aid McKinstry, right? Because he's kind of fallen behind his teammate, Terry and Arnold, fallen behind Quinyon Mitchell, your guy from Toledo there. So I think it's a big day for Kool-Aid.
I think it is an important day for him. I mean, we'll see if the workouts, it should be something that I'm torn because I think McKinstry, he's not going to come in big. I think he has good workouts, so I'm not sure they're going to be great. I'm sure the RAS is going to be outstanding. It's just going to be another kind of meh. I wonder if Terry and Arnold is going to, ultimately kind of put up better numbers even as a possibility. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Alabama guys.
Anybody else that you expect to have a big day?
Yeah, we talked to Jimmy a couple weeks ago from the Hula Bowl. I think Carlton Johnson from Fresno State. This could be a nice coming out party for him. I think he'll be good. They invited a lot of those kind of fast guys. Tyler Owens from Texas Tech. Day 3 guy who's gonna run in the 4.3s. I think Kalen King, maybe this is a good chance for him to bounce back from the Senior Bowl and a poor season. Running the 4.3s, have good drills. I love the drills for the corners. I think getting to see how they get low in their stance, get to see the back pedal, get to see them transition. I think it's really good. Also, another Senior Bowl guy I think is going to do well. Andrew Phillips from Kentucky. Jim Nagy tweeted about him today. I had him in my day 2 of my last mock draft this week. I think he's going to have a good day.
Yeah, one guy I'm looking forward to seeing in the drills and on the field, because we didn't see him in an All-Star game, Josh Newton from TCU. Guy I thought good tape there, so want to see him out there. Carlton Johnson could be the fastest guy at the combine.
Wow. Could be. Could happen.
He's light. He's not a big guy. So but has a chance. Yep. Momentum continuing for Shaw Smith-Waite, Washington State. So week of practice Senior Bowl, but had a great game. Anxious to see how he continues. And I want to see Cameron Kinchins, Miami, maybe bounce back. I thought he struggled a little bit at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a pretty good workout for him too. The safeties will be interesting. I think it's always hard sometimes to judge those 40 times, especially off TV film. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But it's a pretty good DB group as a whole.
All right. Let's quickly let me say this. That's going to wrap up our combine talk preview here. But I do want to get into some combine props, Shane, because they got a few of them out here tonight. Bovada got a few out there. You said FanDuel's got a few. I couldn't find those, so I'll let you espouse those a little bit. But just a couple here on FanDuel. Fastest 40 time, over under 4.27.
Yeah, I think it's going to be slower than that.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know if we get a 4.2 this year.
If we do, I think it'll be like 4.29. It'll barely be in there. That's what DJ Turner had last year, right? It was at 4.2 or was it 4.27? I can't remember. So we're definitely not breaking the John Ross record here.
No.
Plus 350 is the juice you get on the record break. By the way, I don't feel like that's. I feel like that's
not enough for me to take that risk with this group. So.
Highest vertical jump, over under 43.5 inches.
That's a good number. I probably go over that. I feel like the vert is one where I think it's a good group for it. I think we have a lot of explosion with this receiver and DB group. Someone could break that. Yeah, I'm going over.
Longest broad jump over under 11 and a half feet.
Ooh, that's a tough one too. Usually I kind of pair those, so I think I'll go over as well. Usually, like if the verts are going to be good, the broad's probably going to be good, right? So they kind of match up. I think I go over 11 and a half.
Most bench press reps over under 40.
Oh, so yeah, that's a hefty number. I don't know. I guess I'm with you. I guess I'll go.
I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go thumbs down.
I'm not confident. I'm not confident in it.
There we go. Fastest short shuttle. Over under 3.88 seconds.
So I guess I'm going to go over just because I don't think a lot of people will do it.
Right. That's kind of where I'm at.
But I guess if you're going to run under 3.88, then you will do it, right? So, like, I guess it doesn't matter if it's only 5 people.
It's minus 110 for faster, minus 130 for slower. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of leeway either way.
I'd probably go slower there.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Which ones do you have over there?
So, okay, for FanDuel, who will run the fastest 40-yard dash at the combine?
Fastest 40-yard.
Who's the player? Who is the player who will run the fastest 40?
I think I'm kind of liking Carlton Johnson.
Let me see if he's even on the list. He is plus 4,000.
Wow.
To run the fastest 40. So you get pretty good odds there.
I can't bet FanDuel.
I know. Yeah. Maybe I'll have to. I don't even know.
You might have to throw some juice on that there, Shane.
Yeah. You want to guess who is the favorite to run the fastest 40? I'll give you 5 guesses. I don't think
5 guesses.
I don't think you'll get it.
Jalen Wright.
No. He is 4th. Plus 1,000.
Okay. I'm going to guess one more time and then give me a position hint.
Two more times, then I'll give you a position
hint. Okay. Roma Dunze.
No, Roma Dunze is plus 3,900.
Oof. Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid is plus 6,500.
Kool-Aid's not running
the
fastest.
It is a defensive back.
A corner.
It's or DB. Safety. It's a DB. They're in the DB list. That's all you have. You just have a DB list. So
we'll see. Cooper.
Two more guesses.
Nobody's ever heard of Jarvis Brownlee Jr., so it's not going to be him. I'm out.
Tyler Owens, Texas Tech, plus 400.
Is he that fast?
I guess so. I guess I need to adjust my mine. Xavier Worthy is second, plus 600. Anthony Gold, plus 750. Jalen Wright, plus 1,000. Troy Franklin, plus 1,300. Roman Wilson, plus 1,800. Nate Wiggins, plus 1,800.
What was your projection on Tyler Owens?
Let me see what I have here. Probably not good. I probably got to change it. 4.52. That's too slow.
Obviously, that's way too slow if he's the betting favorite here.
Look, he hasn't run it yet. I'm adjusting that down to like 4.39 or something because, geez, must be pretty fast.
That's wild. All right. Jimmy's hoping it's Carlton Johnson.
Yeah. Who would be your bet for fastest receiver if you had to put it down? Yeah, Worthy's favored plus 290, I guess. Is there any kind of long shot? One interesting one. Xavier Legette's 5th on the list, plus 1,100. Lulu Griffin is plus 1,200. He's 6th.
I'll buy that. After seeing him dice up South Carolina this year, just outrunning everybody, I will buy that. I will buy Lulu Griffin as having an outside shot here.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Dunze is down. If you want to bet him, he's plus 1,800. Fastest defensive back. Yeah, we kind of hit these. Fastest running back. So Jalen Wright's number 1. Number 2 is Jawar Jordan, plus 240. Bucky Irving, plus 700, which I'd probably bet that. Keelan Robinson plus 1,100. Trey Benson plus 1,100. Isaac Orendo plus 1,600. All those are pretty fair.
Do they have a fastest quarterback? I'm just curious.
I don't think they do.
Okay.
Mostly because no one's going to run.
Most of them don't run, right?
They have some who will run a faster 40 if you want to play that game.
Sure.
Joe Alderlufashano.
Fashano.
He is the favorite. No, he is not. Alt's the favorite, minus 108.
I'm going Penn State strength coach all day, every day.
Yeah. Oh no, Fashanu is the favorite, minus 120. So you're probably right there. Who run a fast 40? Jaden Daniels, who I don't think he's going to run, or Blake Corum.
Well, Blake Corum by default, because I'm with you. Jaden Daniels said he's not working out at all. So
if either don't run, then they void it. So you don't get to have fun with that. Dallas Turner or Brock Bowers?
Oh man,
kind of a fun one.
That is a fun one. I feel like the answer is going to be Dallas Turner.
Yeah, he is the overwhelming favorite, minus 146. Bowers plus 112. I mean, I think Turner's probably going to work out like Will Anderson did, right? I mean, it was pretty monster. So those are kind of fun for FanDuel. There you go.
Yep. All right. That's going to do it for tonight's edition of the Draft Countdown podcast. Wait, here we go. Jimmy's throwing up Owens, Gold, Garendo, Xavier Worthy.
There you go. Yeah.
I like Garendo.
Top 3.
But that's going to do it. We got no questions on the Twitter, none in the Discord, and none in the chat. So
yeah, if you're listening to this YouTube podcast, shoot us a tweet with a question for next week. Like, give us questions. Let us know what you want us to answer. We'll do it at the end of the show.
We'll flag it and we'll do it next week. And we're hopefully going to talk a little Bears next week. I got to confirm that with Brian Perez. We had him on last year, and hoping to get that confirmation in with him later this weekend. But that's going to do it for tonight's edition of the Draft Countdown podcast. As always, like Shane said, if you're watching on this on YouTube and you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you're missing out. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever that you get your podcast, leave us a 5-star review, share that out as well. As always, you can follow us on Twitter. That's right, I said Twitter. I'm not calling it the other name. Follow me at Deep Fried Draft. Follow Shane at Shane B. Hallam. Follow Draft Countdown on Twitter at Draft Countdown. And go to draftcountdown.com for all of your daily draft needs. For Shane, I'm Brian. Good night, everybody.